Emmaus proposition. Stating the truth of God's story, doing it all to God's glory. Logic, reason, Christ, giving the world the gospel diction. Giving the world the gospel diction. Giving the world the gospel diction. It's the Emmaus proposition. Stating the truth of God's story.
Yo, what's going on, y'all? This is your boy Shay coming back at y'all with another episode of the Emmaus proposition. Yo, I know it's been a long time. But your boy been doing this thing. I've been going through a lot of life's ups and downs, man, but I'm back on that road to Emmaus. Actually, it's the continuation of the road that Christ has put us on, man. And we want to say what's up to all the folks that's been riding with us for this long. And hopefully getting some new people in so they can hear what we're doing back up on this road. So, I just want to reintroduce myself. I want to reintroduce the podcast. I want to get things back going. I got so many things to talk to y'all about, man. Y'all know how we do over here on the Emmaus proposition. We're just going to keep it going. So, let me just give y'all a little personal update about where I've been going, what I've been doing, all that kind of stuff. So, I think the last time I posted was like 2 years ago or something like that, right? And so much has happened, So, I know y'all was rolling with me when we were leaving our old church and we were trying to figure things out. We were trying to figure out the podcast thing and trying to find my voice and all that kind of stuff. Since then, we started actually a house church network, and that's been going crazy. It's been crazy cool, man. Like, there's so much that I didn't realize in my life. Like, over time, you don't know what you don't know a lot of times, right? So, coming up in the faith, way back in South Carolina, right? Like that old Baptist church, going into the military, not going to church at all, just wilding. Getting saved in a church when I moved here to Reno. When we moved here to Reno, I should say, me and my wife. And that was a cool church, man. Like, it reintroduced me to God. My wife was coming to faith for the first time, and the pastors were cool, and everything was going great. It was just stuff missing. Getting into another church that I found my voice, like, this Reformed theology thing, and stepping into that, and like, what does that look like? And just finding like the truth of the scriptures, man, it was so cool. And staying in that for a hot minute, until God was like, I need you to move on. I need you to show you different stuff. But while I was doing all these different phases while I've been in church, doing like the small group thing, not understanding like there's the book of Acts, it seems like that's what the church was doing. They were doing these little small house churches. They were doing their thing. They were breaking bread together. They were singing songs to one another. They were collecting an offering sometimes. They were opening up the scriptures, and they were just loving each other. And the word there was like, it seemed like they had all things in common when they did that. And somehow, in churches all over the world, I can't even say it's like here in town or here in America, churches all over the world, they got this thing flipped a little bit. And I remember when we went to India on a mission trip and seeing how they were doing church in India and just thinking like, man, this is beautiful. Like, they got these little house churches all over the city, and this one pastor was just like training up all these house church leaders to do the work of the ministry. But it wasn't like they were growing to big, large churches. A lot of times they can't. So they're doing these house churches. They're growing. They're doing their thing. And when we came to this house church network thing, I'm like, yeah, man, I think that's where my skill set is. And it's been rocking, man. Like, we got a good group of people in our church, man. Hopefully, I can convince some of them to come on at some time. Y'all can meet some of them. Man, it's been so good, y'all. Like, we've gone through books of the Bible together. Like, we've laughed together. We've gone through like tough times together. it's been real heavy. You know how like pastors will get up, they preach a sermon, and I've even done this. You preach a sermon, and you don't really get no like feedback from the folks, and unless it's like you really go out and look for it. Man, these folks don't let me get away with nothing, man. If I come with something that they don't think is in the scriptures, they're like, like we got to go back through and find this in the word. Like, what are we talking like on some real Berean stuff? You know what I'm saying? So it's been cool. It's been cool. I've been doing that. Been on this personal journey of being in the military. Yo, I thought I was pretty certain that I was be getting out of the military March 26th, right? And God had prepared my heart, y'all. Like I was like, heart was ready. I'm ready to do the thing, and I'm rolling along. I start taking stuff out of my office, and I'm getting my life situated. And I'm telling folks and all this stuff, right? And I feel like God was just like, I just needed your heart to listen to me, and if I told you to go, for you to be able to jump. And God gave me another set of orders, man. So I'll be in the military for like another year, y'all, and then this office backdrop will probably be changing. I'll probably have to try to get some kind of office at home so I could do these episodes. So yeah, that's been a major change, man. Like trying to wrap my mind around, I've been doing the military since I was 19 years old. It's been like what 20. Oh, it's been like 28 years or something like that, man. Like I've been in the military forever, and man, it's time. God was like, it's time for you to do something different, man. So God has been working with me on some stuff. That's been the other thing. Like I did this transition course as I was preparing my heart to get ready to leave the service, and in that transition course, I did like an entrepreneurial course. Because I was just like, like, why not get the information? And my wife was like, yeah, just go get the information. You never know, it might hit you. And so I go, and man, so much information. I'm not even lying. These folks make you think you can conquer the world. And they're like, once you go do it, we got your back. And I'm just like, man. So in the course of going through this information, my wife was like, hey, you should try, you know how we've been doing like this ministry we've been doing. Actually, y'all don't even know about that. Dang, let me back up a little bit. The past couple years, we have been doing, I'm so excited, y'all. I'm excited to be back. We've been doing this apologetics thing with these teenagers. So, at my kids, some of y'all know we homeschool our kids. And as we were homeschooling the kids, they asked me to come along and teach apologetics to these homeschool kids, right? It's like a co-op. And they were like, you got 15 minutes to teach these kids apologetics. I'm like, there's no way you could cover any subject in apologetics in 15 minutes. Like it's just like a quick introduction and you got to keep it moving. And I was like, you know what, man? I should just, matter of fact, all the kids just come to the house. Like we'll pick out a night that y'all can come over. We'll feed you. We'll talk through some of these apologetics topics. Y'all can learn how to defend your faith. And y'all, the first year we did that, I'm talking about like the kids were like popping out the house. Like we had kids like stacked up the hallway. It was like 30 some kids, sometimes almost 40 kids in our living room, just like talking apologetics. And really key to what I've been doing, right? I'll get the kids a subject, and then I will do like a little devil's advocate character for them, right? Like I'll put on a hat, like I'll become a different character every time we do a different subject. Like I'll take on the role of what they want to argue against. And it's up to them what they want to argue against. So it's anything, right? We've been debating like free will. We've been debating Catholicism. We've been debating like Mormonism, like any subject you could think of. Like these kids are not afraid to go into the subject with their faith head on, taking me to the scriptures, like why they believe what they believe. Yo, it's been amazing couple years, right? And so my wife was like, yo, why don't you do this apologetics thing as a business? I'm like, I don't know about that, man. And so, but I write it down, and the instructor dude, they're looking at it, they're like, oh, that's a pretty good idea. And they're introducing us to different tools and stuff. And they're like, well, here's this new AI thing. And these business people, like, they don't, I won't say they don't care about the ethics of AI, but they're really like, they're leaning forward in the business world on this AI joint. And they're like, yo, tap your business idea into AI just so you can get a feel for how it works. If you don't use it, that's fine. You're just introducing you to the tool that you can use for later when you do decide what to build your business. And yo, I start building in like a business model canvas and all this other kind of stuff, and pricing sheets and all kind of stuff. Yo, I've been so encouraged that, yo, I'm deciding to pull the trigger, y'all. I'm deciding to pull the trigger. Your boy is going to be self-employed when I get out of this military thing. So starting up an LLC, what that looks like has been crazy. Just like wrapping my mind around, like, I'm going to be my own boss after not knowing anything except like military life. It's been a wild thing. And so wrapping my mind around that, wrapping my mind around revenue streams, and tracking my business expenses, and like all kind of different stuff. It's just been cool. Donors, and where I'm going to ask for money from, and oh man, nonprofit stuff and LLC stuff. It's been so cool going through that process right now. Actually, as I go through it, I'm probably going to be talking to y'all about it, because it's super exciting. It's gonna be called like A2GG Apologetics. All to God's glory. Like everything we do, including here on the Emmaus proposition, man. And so we're gonna tie these two things together. It's gonna be all to the glory of God apologetics, and one of the key aspects is going to be this Emmaus proposition podcast, and I'm so looking forward to it. Right. So we here. What else is going on? Wife is doing good. Family's doing good. No major injuries. So, I take that back. I had shoulder surgery a little while back, so I've been recovering from that. My son messed his elbow up, so he's been recovering that. We all, like me and my daughter, we got our braces off. I don't know if y'all can see that. My youngest son, he's got he's got some kind of brace thing that he's doing to get his palate corrected and stuff. So, like normal life stuff, man. The family has been so good, and we're rolling, man. We are so busy with ministry and with this project and that project, and redoing the kitchen, and redoing the living room, and it's been cool. It's been cool, and so we're rolling through all that kind of stuff, right? And I'm so excited to get back to Emmaus proposition, because I love talking about Christ, man. Like I love things out in culture. Don't get me wrong. Like I love sci-fi, love hip hop, love basketball, love me and my wife. Like we watch movies. You know what I mean? Like love all these things in culture. Love talking politics and how that intersects with Christ. But it's everything. It's not just politics that intersects with Christ. Like everything we do, and that's the goal here at the Emmaus proposition, yo. Like we take whatever it is that's out in culture, and we see ultimately how Christ is at the center of it all. And so, like I was wanting to reintroduce, like just in case I got a new audience, right? And I appreciate y'all being here with me. But the scripture, right? Luke 24. Starting at verse 10. I'm gonna read this for a little while, so y'all gonna see me looking down. But this is the basis of what we do. So I want to introduce y'all to what we doing and why we doing it. This is the heartbeat of the show. You know what I'm saying? So this is Luke 24, starting at verse 13. It says, that very day, two of them were going to a village named Emmaus, about 7 miles from Jerusalem, and they were talking with each other about all these things that had happened. While they were talking and discussing together, Jesus himself drew near and went with them, but their eyes were kept from recognizing him. And he said to them, what's this conversation y'all holding with each other as you walk? And they stood still, looking sad. Then one of them, named Clopas, answered him, Are you the only visitor to Jerusalem who doesn't know the things that have happened there in these days? And he said to them, what things? And they said to him, concerning Jesus of Nazareth, a man who was a mighty prophet, who was a prophet, mighty in deed and word before God and all the people, and how our chief priests and rulers delivered him up to be condemned to death and crucified him. But we hoped that he was the one to redeem Israel. Yes, and besides all this, it's now the third day since these things happened. Moreover, some of the women of our company amazed us. They were at the tomb earlier this morning, and when they didn't find his body, they came back saying that they had seen a vision of angels who said that he was alive. Some of those who were with us went to the tomb and found it, just as the women had said, but him they didn't see. And he said to them, O foolish ones, and slow of heart to believe all that the prophets have spoken. Was it not necessary that the Christ should suffer these things and enter into his glory? And beginning with Moses and all the prophets, he interpreted it to them in all the scriptures, the things concerning himself. Oh my goodness. Yo, here at the Emmaus proposition, right? I don't believe that if Jesus were alive today, that conversation wouldn't have stopped at just the law and the prophets. The law, the prophets, the gospels, the epistles, the church leaders, the gospel going past Rome and into the new world all the way to 2025, almost said 2026, all the way to 2025, Reno, Nevada, and all over the world, every single thing is ultimately about Christ. Everything we do, everything we say, everything points to him. All things are for him, from him, and to him. To God be the glory in the name of Jesus Christ. We want to lift Jesus high in everything we do on this show. The gospel must go out to the world because ultimately everything's about him anyway, and he's holding all things together through the power of his word, y'all. This is what we want to do with the Emmaus proposition. We want to make Christ famous. We want to point everything in culture back to Christ. And so that is the heartbeat of the show. That's my heart in this. That's my heart in doing apologetics with the kids, to teach them how to defend this faith. Yo, if evangelism is like offense, in every sport you would play, they say defense wins championships. It's great to have a good offense. And I say that being like a lightweight, like Golden State fan, just because I like how Steph Curry plays. They're like all offense, right? But it was the years that they had defense that they were winning those championships. And they've been sorely lacking in the defensive department, right? It's the defense that wins championships. And apologetics is the defense that wins those championships. Yo, we gotta have our faith to the point where we can defend it against any worldview that we come across. So in the Emmaus proposition, we want to lift up Christ. In apologetics, we want to lift up Christ. Yo, in my job, I want to lift up Christ. When I play ball twice a week, I want to lift up Christ. When I go to physical therapy for my shoulder, I want to lift up Christ. I want to lift up Christ to my family so they can see and be a man that they want to follow. In the church that we're doing on Sundays, I want to lift up Christ. So all things are for him, through him, and to him. That's what we want to do at the Emmaus proposition. And so here's my vision for the season, y'all. We're gonna be coming with new episodes. I got like almost like a year worth of material planned out. Like I'm gonna work with it and try to build it out. Yo, we're gonna hit some serious topics because there's some serious stuff happening in culture, man. There's some serious stuff happening, and people getting sniped, people having to defend their faith in weird spots. Yo, there's been this rise in people wanting to know more about the gospel, not just here in America, but like all over the world. Yo, we got Christian brothers and sisters like in Africa. I want to say it's in Kenya and a couple different places. They're just being sniped out, man. It's real out here in this world, y'all. And if we don't have this faith, if we don't put our sins away, if we don't have this faith, if we don't grow in this knowledge, if we don't get in this word, yo, we're gonna get sniped out, man. We're gonna be like when Jesus talked about that parable where it was it was the parable of the sower. He's throwing seeds out, and some, they just get tossed away with the birds. You know what I mean? They got tossed onto the rocks on purpose to feed the birds. You know what I'm saying? There's some that went in the soil, but it was rocky soil. There's some that went in the thorn bushes, but they got choked out. We can't get choked out. We can't have this shallow faith. We can't just get picked off by the world, man. We got to have this deep, longing desire to love Christ, love everything about him, to love the body of Christ, to love the world enough to tell them, yo, without Christ, you are hell-bound. We got to love them enough to tell them. And that's what we want to do. We want to arm people with apologetics. We want to arm people with conversations like these. Yo, share this with y'all's friends, y'all, because, you never know when somebody just, they happen to be talking about some football game, and you're like, oh, how do I work a football game into talking about Christ? Or the new Tron movie is coming out. Like, how do I talk to people about Tron and then, like, insert the gospel? Yo, I want to go through all that stuff, man, because all of it, the flavor of Jesus should just be like dripping off our lips, right? It's out of the abundance of a heart that the mouth speaks, right? So we can either take that as we always got something negative to say because ain't nothing but negative on the inside of us, or we could be dripping with Christ, and the gospel just kind of flows out of us onto this culture. Yo, this planet needs a rescue, y'all. I don't know if y'all have noticed. It is wild. Things are wild out here. And we have to be the people of God. We have to be the light upon the hill. We are the aroma of life to those who God is saving. And we let God decide that, right? Because there's going to be some people we preach the gospel to, and it's the aroma of death. But that's up to God to do, man. He told us to go out, preach the gospel to all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. And he promised us, so I'm going to be with you always, even until the end of the age. That's what we want, man. Like we want to arm ourselves to be able to do that. We want to arm ourselves, not necessarily against culture, but culture needs to be seriously filtered. We can't just ingest everything. There's some stuff that's got to get seriously filtered so that we can go out into the world and preach Christ. So we want to arm people with conversations like that. I want to bring folks on and talk to them and see how they do it. I want to give shout outs to all the people that's around me, man. Giving a shout out to like the Drinklings. Yo, they're still out there publishing books, man. Yo, I forgot to tell. So y'all know I did the one book, right? Chronicles of the Bridge, and that used to be my intro, thumbnail, and all that kind of stuff, right? But that's been a few years, so I actually started writing a sci-fi book. Y'all, I'm not a right brain person. Like I'm all up in my theological mind frame most of the time, right? And so, man, the concept of like building worlds and building languages, and what I wanted to do, I didn't want to just write some random like sci-fi book. I knew I wanted to write a sci-fi book, but I knew I didn't want to write a random sci-fi book. I want to, once again, anything I do, like I want to represent Christ. So I wanted to write a Christian sci-fi, and I'm so close to pulling it off, man. Like I'm in the editing phase right now, just getting people to read it over and tell me what they think about it. But it's everything we do has to be to the glory of God. And so I shout out to the Drinklings, what they're doing. Shout out to Testify Church. Thank y'all for loving on me for the last couple years, man. Let's keep it going. Let's keep growing. Like we want to have house churches all over this valley. There's a stat, and I don't know if it's still accurate because it's a few years ago, right? There's this stat that used to be out there that said Reno, this valley, the Reno Valley, is the second least churched county in America, behind the Bay Area. And that's why, like, I don't know if some of y'all have been down to the Bay. Maybe some of y'all are on the East Coast, or maybe you're on the other side of the world. I don't know. I might be overstating my importance of saying people on the other side of the world listening to this, but the Bay Area is crazy. For those of you who have been there, the Bay Area is like wild. Like, when I was in the service and I was stationed down that way, I didn't even make my way to the Bay. It is just too much to understand that Reno, the Reno area, the Reno valleys, as you will, because we're in like in a mountainous area, is the second least church county in America. It's crazy. Like, Reno is known for the place where marriages go to die, where church pastors go to burn out, where with this stat, there's churches, but there's so many people who are unchurched. It's right behind the Bay Area, percentage-wise. We got work to do. And so the ministry of Testify, the ministry of this podcast with the Emmaus proposition, the ministry with A2GG apologetics, just the ministry of being friends with people in our community. It's all super important, man. All of it points back to Christ. And that's what we want to do. So we're going to have some good conversations. We're going to have some fun conversations. I'm going to try my best not to keep it all serious. Like I said, there's some serious stuff happening, man. Like Charlie Kirk thing. I don't care about your politics, quite honestly. I'll challenge either side on their political stances, because I think people have married their church to their politics too close. I think it's okay to have your politics informed by your faith. So if I was thinking about a marriage situation, right? Like if your faith was like the husband and your politics were like the wife, like the husband is leading the wife, I don't think I would have as much problem. But people have this either ingrained relationship with their faith and their politics, or it's flip-flopped, right? Like their politics are leading their faith. Like I know pastors who they say stuff and it sounds more political than biblical. And they don't hear themselves. Like they don't hear what it is they're saying. And that ain't what Christ would want us to do. That ain't the scriptures. Give to Caesar what's Caesar's. That's fine. We are outside of our home. We are dual citizens in this place, regardless of where we find ourselves, right? If we find ourselves here in America, in Angola somewhere, in Mongolia, in Chile, wherever we find ourselves, we belong to the body of Christ. That doesn't mean we can't love the place where God has placed us. God determines the times and the seasons where people are. Like he draws boundaries around them and places them in particular in the places where he puts them. Of course he would want you to fall in love with that place. He wants to beautify that place. He wants the gospel to go into that place and penetrate all of its idols. In Jeremiah, right? Jeremiah 29. People love that verse, right? Jeremiah 29:11. Some people got it tattooed on their arm. And they say stuff like, man, I can do all things through God who gives me strength. Totally totally devoid of the context that Bible verse is written in. The Bible makes it clear that God is talking to the people that he intentionally sent into captivity, and he tells them, y'all gonna be there for a minute. Y'all might as well settle in. Plant farms. Eat the produce. Give your kids away in marriage. Have grandkids. Y'all gonna be a minute. The welfare that you seek after, the place where I put you, in its welfare you'll find your welfare. And it's like, yeah, I could do all things through Christ who gives me strength. Absolutely. When I put things in particular context, when I can put my faith above my politics, when I can say, yeah, I don't like how things are going. I don't like what this political party is saying, or what this political person is saying, or what this community is saying. I don't like none of that stuff. I like what Christ is saying, and so I'm going to follow that. And so I'm going to go up against my culture. I'm going to go up against my community. I'm going to go up against sometimes an entire political system because they're not reflecting the love of Christ the way the scriptures tell us to. And that just is what it is. That's why we're here on this planet. Like things are in such an emergency right now, man, where people are like they're losing their faith. People are dying by the edge of the sword. People are literally caught up in like human sacrifice at times. Like we're dealing with demonic presences, and we're dealing with false gospels and ancient heresies being brought back up, and there's all kind of stuff that we need to know what's going on. We need to know how to defend our faith. And yo, I'm glad y'all with me on this journey. So let me hear back from y'all, man, what y'all wanted to hear from your boy. I would love to have any of these conversations. If y'all want to come on, we could chop it up. If you want to call in sometime, we could chop it up. I might have to figure that out because I ain't did that part yet. I'm still learning how to put episodes together and how to do all the editing and stuff like that. So you might see some chops in the video. It's all good. This is to the glory of God, man. So we're going to make it as professional as we can. As we start the business, things are going to be hopefully, you'll hear about that. Y'all can give your boys some prayer and some support, because this is going to be a long road, man. Until Christ comes back in glory, we're just going to rep his name. So, I'm going to wrap it up here for this first episode. It's so good to be back on. I love y'all. I've missed y'all. Hope you're doing good. Hit me up if you got prayers that I could be praying for you. But, man, why are we back on this road again? Make Christ famous. That's what we're going to do. So, until next time, this is the Emmaus Proposition. We're going to be hitting this road every week, man. Share with your friends. Share with the culture. Let's make Jesus loud up in this culture. Grace and peace. It's the Emmaus Proposition.